Gotta wrap it up. All right, what do you want to say to everybody? What are some points or some
What,
things you'd like?
what was that? I couldn't hear. What?
Sorry, I keep getting phone calls. What would you like to say about today's session or recaps?
Yeah. Well, I'll say, I mean, today I was focusing on applying what I saw Shiwa doing, which is just a much better version of what I'm trying to do. But and like I would go through phases where I'm like, is this really effective, or am I just wasting my effort and time? Because it's really freaking hard to do.
Is
Um,
it
and
are you talking
watching
like
how
right at like 5G or
no, well that too, that's a prerequisite. It's what she was doing isn't just checking. What she what does is he defends really really
yeah,
well,
only
and
only he gets it.
yeah, right. He's set there. So sometimes you cut out on the Discord call, so it's hard to always hear what you're saying. So I'll like miss a word here or there, and I'll be like, "What?" That's why I keep asking you, what did you say?" But yeah, yeah. From watching his set with Tonkatsu Grand Finals and the other sets he did with them too, like what allowed him to be so consistently able to beat people's asses was his ability to not get hit, which forced
Yeah,
his opponent to have to do riskier and riskier things in order to actually hit Shiwa.
yeah,
So, and then Shiwa would react with a missed throw attempt with a PK into Boktai or PK into nothing and evade your move that's punishable on evade with a 2P, and then see how you handle the side turn pressure after that. Or see what do you do when you're side turn, and the people were just constantly side turn because he's evading, he's backdash evade canceling, he's crouch fuzzy guard into evade dash. He's also in neutral, sometimes just holding down and tapping it. Like I was watching his hand because you can see it in the video, his left hand holding the joystick, and he would just kind of tap down, and then he would react. But there was a
yes,
rhythm to it. You can look at it if you look at his hand. There's a rhythmic timing to how he's holding down and letting go of it.
yeah, and so no, that's a really good. Is an incredible breakdown of exactly the way that Shiva plays. Now, what I would say is that this is Shiva's style of play. Like this is how
Yes.
Shiva plays. The thing that I'm really curious is how they were able to crack the code on how to do it against Tonchan, because that was like that's been the thing that's been so hard for Shiva is being able to how to just how to crack or not crack, how to outdo Tonchan, right? And is it just defend better, or is it like what happened in that matchup? You know, is what I'm wondering, because this is something that has like been the real hard part for Shua to overcome when fighting Tonchan in the past. Like
He made
Evo is the
yeah.
big,
Go ahead.
right?
I think it's that he didn't make he made no mistakes. And
Yeah,
exactly like Nero was saying, he has no rewarding normal hit stuff, and he wasn't
yeah,
getting counter hit. Also, the other part, like Nero's also noticing, yeah, that defensive style isn't useful if you're unable to punish with throws, with PK or something. You have to
yeah,
you have like when something whiffs, because that's what you're playing for. You're playing for the whiff. You're trying to force the whiff, and when it comes, you have to hit them, and those add up, and that's how you win the whole set consistently. It was godlike,
yep,
absolutely
yeah.
godlike.
Thing is, Tonkatsu couldn't find the timing to counter hit Shiwa, and it's very true, and it's so hard. And Shiwa is like the insane master of defense. Like there's you can't even overstate it. It's like it's a fact, you know.
Yeah,
And when you watch them apply these principles to other characters that aren't Pi, you know, like I heard like Shiwa's L Blaze is untouchable, you know. And it's just like, um, you
yeah,
know,
and that's
yeah,
really hard to do because it requires a lot of discipline on the player side to not do things that are going to be punishable on evade. Like that's the biggest one, and like almost everything is punishable on evade. So if you watch his set with Tonkatsu back, or just most of his sets that he had during the entire event
Here
that I
comes
saw
my
at least,
suplex.
he's using jab, elbow and 2P, mostly. Except when he's in Nitaku. Then he might use something bigger. And the reason he's doing that is because when he's in those Nitaku or, sufficient plus frame, you're not punishable on evade if you use the right total attack frame move or total frame move. And he just knows that, and he goes through the moves so quickly. He picks the right move so quickly. He's playing literally perfect. That's really hard. He makes defense in this game look OP. Like, we need more offensive options in this game. We need some fucking supers, possibly, to beat Shiwa's ass, because goddamn, that shit was rewarding as fuck.
But it took 13 years. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I agree. And it is something important to have people know that that's what they're watching or what they need to look for when they watch Shiwa play, and tell them you need to watch everyone try to hit Shiwa. Right. Yeah. Oh, we're not Shiwa. You have to develop your own. 100%. 100%,
But just like with developing a musical style, like learning different musical tastes, different ways of playing the saxophone in training, what we're taught is to listen to a certain musician, emulate their style perfectly or as close as you can with your own, body, with your own instrumentation. And then you can forget about it. And like what will end up happening is you'll integrate different parts of that player that resonate with you, and it will come out in your playing. So like right now, like this set and when I was playing yesterday, I was trying to be very strict and say, no, just do what I believe Shiwa would do in the situation. Just stick to his play style. And it's not my play style at all. Like, I don't play that way. I'm a risky bitch.
From the way I do think you're capable of it, like, and I think you've been working towards it for years now.
Yeah.
At least 3 years more. But I think, obviously you and I started from a place of how do we crack the opponent,
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, you've been already on the path of mastering moral play too, and then using that to crack in reverse.
Right.
And and then now Hernan and I are the guys who just always loved cracking people, and now we're like trying to be much more moral. It doesn't look moral today, but
yeah.
I'll give it 100%.
But I think you also know that you're like, actually Chanchai's defending more than Chanchai was defending 2 months ago.
You are substantially more. And any lack of you defending more than you already are, I take full responsibility for by not punishing you harder for all those sweeps you keep throwing in my face that I keep not punishing with a 9K. That's purely my fault. So, I'll work on that so that you stop feeling comfortable throwing those sweeps in front of me, because God damn it.
Round 2.
Well, the good thing is I'm such a butt because the stubbornness it makes you guys go, really? Really? When I used to fight against old Chicago player, but back in Japan now, Showdown, he would just always shout out like, greedy! Like, because of all my plays, he's so greedy. And I think that's really good definition of the way I play VF.
Yeah. And as we're kind of talking about this general idea of like getting stronger in strength and like what makes you a strong player, I mean, you do have to lean into whatever you're good at. So like, I know what my like neurological strengths are, like what I'm just good at generally doing, and I lean into those things. Every once in a while, I try to bring up the things I'm weaker on, like my reactions are ass. Shiwa's style of play is very reactionary in a way that I am not used to using. But like there were bits and pieces where I left his style off. I was like, all right, I'm going to use his style for a little bit in this situation where maybe I'm stuck or I'm like feeling like I'm not doing something that's more optimal, and then use my own stuff around with it, like those tech roll traps or the spacing traps. Or just that 9K because I feel like it in my bones. You're gonna throw a low in my face and fuck you. Like that.
But it's what I really love about VF though, is that it does have a lot of these fun toys to play with on the table. And obviously, when we're talking about the highest levels of play, it's it's going to be about as restricted as you can get, and yet, but VF is actually still incredibly dynamic on that. But also, to what Nero was talking about is, what we would say about Nero is, I like that. To me, Nero plays like on an artistic level. So it's like because they can feel, like from experience, from all their training and all their playing, they really feel a lot of stuff well, and they see certain truths in their play, and they see when people are deviating from even from the frames and mess with that, and it's really it's really fun fighting Nero directly, right? And then it's also really fun fighting. When we talk about European players, it's also fun like fighting Kingo, because with Kingo I felt like I'm being dissected, and he's building strong plan over time, over many games, and he's gonna let me like really push him around those first many games, and then after that it's like gonna be start really apply the pressure with the plan, and then apply Yomi where at certain spots, but generally it's a very strong balanced VF,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
The thing that impressed me, of course, was, as I told you, and the skills that you have as well, which was the situation checking was on a really high level and so consistently accurate, and the Yomi was also pretty accurate, and it was just like, wow, like
Round 3.
and so things that were like for sure good to do were being chosen, and in situations that are very vague,
Yeah.
but I felt happy that I was fighting against it very well. I had awesome games, right? Just like when we fight, I feel like I'm fighting. Sometimes I'm getting blown up, but a lot of times I feel like I'm fighting well regardless.
Yeah.
But I am also very defiant, and I play a very high risk VF, but I do want to manage it better. And risk is really, generally risk is unnecessary in this game, but it is fun.
Risk is unnecessary in a sense, but like it's also like so if I'm gonna say, if I had to choose like whether I wanted to play more like Shiwa or more like Tonkatsu, I'm closer in my soul to Tonkatsu. Like, I'm an aggressive bitch. I want to rip your goddamn heart out and make you eat your entrails. Like, that's me. So, but she was not that kind of a player, right? So what's really nice about having those two in this event was that you could see two different ways of playing the game and how effective they can both be. So you don't have to like say, oh, I have to play this way. You can play however the fuck you want.
Yep. And I'll say it again. Always listen to Tricky. Also, always listen to Nero.
Yeah.
Nero's right. The chat. And it's like, listen to what Nero's saying, but also listen to what Tricky's saying. They're both saying really good supportive stuff together, And it's
In my soul, I am Tricky, of course. I'm always me, which is my own style. No one can replicate Tricky's Eileen. I mean, really.
In the world has. Nobody.
I know. I've been trying to teach these other Eileen players to like do some of the things I do, and it's really hard. I don't know how. Like, because what I had to do to get to where I'm at, like with her, required like so much detail and attention that I haven't really met someone else who wants to do that. It's hard.
It's also like I really, I'm excited when we do the next time we get to play offline as well, because Eileen has a full spectrum. She's a full grayscale on her screen cancelability, and that's really it shines in offline. Online, the variance in the online environment really, like, even for Tricky, it makes them like not want to use it as much. And I know in offline, they really love playing with that playground that Eileen has. That's very unique to her in this game. It makes her more like a Soul Calibur character.
I would say more like a Street Fighter character, but instead you have to like manually do all your cancels. Like your low forward into Hadouken, you have to just manually cancel that, as opposed to whiff punishing and like buffering the whole thing in. You can't do that with Eileen. You have to like see it to counter it, and then do the follow up. which is hard, but the reward on it is so high, which is likely why they nerfed her into the goddamn ground, because they were scared. Like this, like truly, I think this is what happened with her. That like they were scared that if she wasn't like more prone to taking damage, she'd be too powerful because of her her ability to get counter hit checks and do so much damage so quickly. But they were wrong. They didn't understand how powerful the average character is going to be in this game. It's like everyone does so much damage. It's amazing.
I think that they underestimated the power level of everything in this game, but
Yeah.
but I do think it's also like they mostly got it right. But Eileen did get tuned in a really difficult, into probably the most difficult spot, because the risk reward is a little, and the fact is that the reward, it's like, okay, she has the reward, but the problem is everybody has the reward.
Yeah.
it's like if you really want to make her like the glass cannon, then like two choices should win a match, right? You know?
Right. Well, they didn't do that because of how safe her counter hit checking moves are. Like, they're relatively safe on evade. They're relatively fast. So they probably thought, and the cancels do a good chunk of damage. Like 5 of those, you're dead. Because it does that much damage, which is a lot. The problem is those are locked behind your reactive ability, and it's just too hard. They need to make the window wider. Then it would probably be better. She would be more strong. But like, the real problem with Eileen isn't that she's light. It's that she's too fucking hard to play. That's really the problem. Like, her best shit's locked behind really hard shit.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but I like playing her that way, so it's okay.
I mean, it's life of a skill character, right? We'll call her a skill character, even though a lot of beginners like playing her because they like to hit 9K. But the thing is that she's actually she's a skill-based character. Which, she's hard to win. Most levels of play, but it's like Aoi is really a skill-based character. It's like an insanely skill-based character in my view. She has, but it's like it's actually harder to teach beginners how to win with her because of the lack of damage, aside from get good at throwing, and it's like she does have combos, but almost all of her combos kind of require setting up well, or like good judgment in order to use it, and so
Jackie's similar. Sorry, go ahead. What about Jack? Well, what about Eileen?
No. I think we've already said everything about. I was just probably going to end up repeating a point. But what I was brought up though, that Jackie's a good example to me, because Jackie, the reason a lot of beginners struggle with Jackie, actually, or not beginners, intermediate. The reason that the intermediate level, a lot of people struggle with Jackie though, right? He doesn't get back on normal hit. He has to use like 6 kill points to normal hit. But you just have to teach people, how to get good at the movement and the defense, and then suddenly beat knuckle becomes better, right? When they learn where to apply it, but there's a base skill level to start using that beat knuckle. Uppercut's easier to teach, but at the same time, your Jackie's not going to do much if it's only relying on uppercut,
Unless you know the combos that are pretty goddamn powerful. Those combos hurt. The uppercut combo, it's hard, and they're like different for every character, I think, or close to that.
Well, in the case of Eileen, it's her elbows are complexity, right? So at the intermediate level, like, you're spending a lot of time understanding why her elbows are really good, actually. But there are a variety of them, but they're tools. It's like Leon, they're utility, right? The strength in them is kind of situational to a degree. And not overusing them, but they're really good moves.
You mean her cancels, or do you mean elbow?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about her uppercuts and.
So here's the thing about her uppercut. Her uppercut is actually hot garbage doo-doo butter. Now I'll tell you why. I'm gonna tell you exactly why. If you evade it from almost any situation, she's punishable on hit, like with a 2P. Unless I follow up with the next move, which you could decide to double evade if you want, and then it's maybe not want to do that. The other thing is that That's just like the first thing that makes it bad. But here's the second thing that makes it shit. It has
so much-
zero range, like zero range. You can backdash that shit from like almost point blank.
Tons of stuff that probably do and like that deal with punches and just kidding. You know?
Yeah.
But it's designed because that's what opens up the kicks. Right? like
Yeah, I guess so. I wish it wasn't so short range though. Like it's a 15 frame move. It's like her next slower move after her doing elbow. Like the next choice would be that 3P, and it has really good. It's not that bad in the context of her offensive tool set. No, it's not. It's just you can't lean on that move too hard because it only works from point blank. It's so fucking rewarding though, and I love it, but it's like I just wish it didn't miss people backdashing so easily.
Nero summed it up also saying like what we're saying about the word. He says like, yeah, she's really good at attacking, but she makes one mistake and it's like 50% of her life.
Right.
You know, it's like that's what we're saying. Like, you don't want to get too hard on it, right? You know, so
Right. Right. Just a hair. Just a hair. If I have to lose 50% of my health for doing, a read, I'd rather be able to do that to the opponent a little bit better. But again, I on some level understand it because she really is annoying. Like she can lock a motherfucker down and almost kill you without giving you a chance to do anything.
it's like, we'll just joke and say there's a reason that the sumo beat the monkey style in Bloodsport. No, I'm just kidding, but you know.
Yeah.
But, the monkey
All
style,
right.
that, like, he really epitomized.
I'm gonna end my stream and Raid.